All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the PGA Show here on the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. Got my guy Hoopster here with me as always. Going to be breaking down all things 3M Open this week, so it's a good one. I like this event quite a bit. We're coming off the final major of the season. Hoopster, Scotty by a million, just inevitable. Never loses, never going to lose again. Incredible stuff. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, it made it pretty anticlimactic. I mean, you wake up and you want to watch the fourth round of a major, and then you realize it's over after the first hole, maybe even before that. I know you had tweeted out after you hit the approach shot to a foot or something. It's like game over. See you guys later, and that was obviously the case. I mean, you could see it brewing kind of all week. I mean, anytime, like it does seem like with Scotty, which is very interesting, and it just shows how good he is. He never comes out in the first round and has like the top score. He's never sometimes he does, but like he's always like 2 or 3 shots below the leader, right? Like the leader, I think, was like -6. He shot 3 under in round 1, and like you just knew at that point he was going to be in the conversation. And then like it gets to the weekend, you guys just can't compete with him. Such a dominant run. I mean, pretty unfortunate, obviously, for the suspense of it. If you're someone that enjoys sitting back and watching these majors on a Sunday, because there was just like it was nothing there. I mean, just absolutely nothing there. The guy's so dominant, so nonchalant about it all. I mean, it just makes me wonder. He just seems like obviously he likes winning, but he just almost seems bored with it. Like, okay, yeah, I want another one. Like, I'm just going to continue. He made the comments about how what's the real joy of winning? It only lasts a couple minutes and then you're on to that. It just makes me wonder if he's just going to walk away from golf early at some point, like 5 years down the road, say, I've already accomplished everything I need to. I'm like done. I don't know. I get a weird feeling from him, but it is just pure dominance, very impressive stuff. And I mean, he's clearly in a league of his own right now.
Somebody should ask him that. That is interesting to think about. Like if he just accomplishes it all and just says, that's where I'm at now. Now I want to be this ambassador, but enjoy time.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine it, but you can't. Like it's definitely a possibility with a guy like him. So
yeah,
shout out to the chat. Notes first in. Love to see this. Notes got the avatar up. Notes, by the way, the first king of the desert seat. Shout out to SHIPIT Nation member Notes 105. Eclipsed me. I finished 3rd. In that, so taking all the trainings and the learnings and getting better and getting the job done. So congrats to Notes and first in. Jason Turner, always supporting. Steven Gang Green says, let's go. Never get to watch live. Let's go hoop. Let's play the game. The game, he says, doing our marketing for us over here. My boy Patrick is back in the mix. William, and then Gang Green says, welcome to Skins Week. Hoop, your boy Skins is in the field. So and there's Ryan, the 3VR Open, baby. Couldn't get the job done last week though. Couldn't get the job done last week. Ryan Gerard just too good over on the Barracuda. But where we want to start here, Hoop, we're coming off probably the best business call we've ever been on in a long time, at least. Maybe I won't say ever been on. We've been on some good ones, but this was a very, very good one that we're excited for some of the stuff upcoming. The teasers will start today. I've been waiting to pull them out of the bag. We're working with different partnerships and things, trying to make things happen. But the NFL season just around the corner now, and it's going to be a very exciting one. So maybe you want to start with that quick, and then we'll hop right into the weather and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, we keep talking about these calls and things we're working on, and a lot of times businesses are just kind of looking for profitability and hitting these margins and things like that. Like our business calls, I mean, I can honestly say this because I'm in on them, are calls that are creating more value for our customer base, creating savings for our customer base, creating opportunities for bigger things for our customer base. Like that's the stuff we're working on behind the scenes. And I can honestly say that again, like that's what we are focused on. That's what we've been focused on from day one. So got some really, really big things. And honestly, like the stuff we're working on probably could cost us money in the long run. right? I mean, it's not necessarily a net positive for us, but it's a big net positive for our customer base. That's one thing I can say.
Yeah, for the community and what we want to do, it really just forms that's what it's about. Like we always talk about this, but in the end, people that know it, that have been with us for over 2 years now, the founding family, those that got there from the very beginning, everyone will be rewarded with this, old and new. It is something that nobody in the industry has ever done, at least to my knowledge, and I've been in the industry quite a while, as is Hoop. So I'm super excited for this. We love getting behind the stuff. You guys know we like the gimmicks, the marketing, the fun stuff, the teasers, all of that. This is going to be the best one by far. And if you're not a member yet, we're always honest about it. We tell you up front, it's very simple. If you go to shipitnation.com right now and you're planning on being with us for NFL, you get all access included for free. You get the NFL mega course. You get the price comparisons. You get the CFB content for free when it comes out, working on some stuff behind the scenes with that. And the mystery bonus on August 6th is massive. Like I said, it's not as big as a Millie Maker win, but it's definitely worth more than $100 single entry ticket for the value when you break it all down. So I can tell you it's worth something for sure. If you're planning on joining us, we'll cut it off here and save the rest and go to golf. But if you're planning on being with us for NFL anyway, make sure you're in before August 6th, because you can't get a better deal than this. And it's not about just the price. The price is the obvious one. You're saving $100 versus the regular. It's the bonuses and the mystery bonus, extremely valuable. We just got a Rob Bolton note. Alejandro Tosti, WD, in. Oh my gosh, I get to tell the story. Guess who's in, Hoopster? Ben Martin. And there is a Ben Martin story. If you go to DGen's notes on the side, shout out to our guy DGen, rest in peace. If you go check it out on the site, he knows the note. Ben Martin was mean to the kids, Hoop. This story will just signed a thing. A member sent us, said, Ben Martin's the man, such a nice dude. I said, well, maybe the times are turning. First round leader at the Barracuda last week, and now he's getting into the 3M Open. So I'm going to have Ben Martin in my life. But Alejandro Tosti is out. Ben Martin is in. Any other quick marketing stuff you want to go through, Hoop? If not, we'll hop right into the weather here, just to take a quick look at Blaine out there on the west.
Yeah, I mean, just the last thing is, obviously the last major of the PGA season was last weekend. And I said, start to kind of shift to NFL. I mean, we're going to have content, all our content for all the PGA events coming up. Obviously the playoffs as well, but the shift to NFL is now here. Big time planning. Like you said, the 349 deal is the best deal in the industry. It's the best that anyone can offer, and it's only going to get better with the big announcements coming up in the next couple of weeks. So, the graphic that you had up just lays it out perfectly what you're getting. It is the most affordable all-in price in the industry. Like, nobody, they can't beat it. Even if you're with someone, say, hey, can you match what SHIPIT Nation is doing this NFL season? I'm going to tell you right now, their answer, if they're honest to you, is no. And it's going to be like, no, not even close to what they're offering, because the big announcement on August 6th pushes it all over the edge. You guys are going to be, and I'm super excited for it. So can't match it. It's the best all-in price, most affordable, best value, whatever term you want to use, and we're super excited for it. So after that, we can get into some PGA.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about this. I know a lot of people are talking about a little bit of rain coming in on Wednesday. So, looking forward to the event. We'll see how it plays. A lot of people are thinking, softer on Thursday morning. There is not much wind across either day. I know you're loading it up here now with the Sabre View, but there's not much wind right now on Thursday and Friday. And I mean, somebody asked in here about, where is it at? I don't know. I lost it anyway. I said any weather advantage or whatever. Yeah, any Wednesday night is the best time to check that out. That's when we have the up-to-date information. As of now, don't see a ton going on. I'll be back with Mayo tomorrow. Our guy GS Luke will be on Wednesday evening, but nothing that I really see there as far as what I'm looking at. Hoop, is there anything you're seeing there different? If not, we can hop right into, as usual, and get the Sabre builds loaded up.
No, I usually wait till Wednesday. I mean, a lot of times things can shift. When you're going to factor in weather, you want as up-to-date information as possible. So, as of now, I'm not seeing anything, but that could change. So just kind of straight up builds. I have our first build built 1,000 teams. Just fractionally changed the projection for Sam Burns and Maverick McNeely to have my two changes in there. Got 150 lineup shown here. We have it sorted by projected score, but most importantly, we got our exposure next to the salary, and that is that's a big factor. So soft pricing, very soft. The most expensive guy, 10-5. That's Sam Burns. Crazy, shows you the strength of this field. Sam Burns, the most expensive, then Matt McNeely and Chris Goddard. But you will see one thing right out of the gate is you're getting a lot of those top guys. It's just soft pricing. That's what you're going to get at this event and this point in the PGA season. So that's the initial thoughts. But we can dive in a little deeper.
Sticky, sweaty, bring plenty of shirts. You're going to be back sweating like crazy, or maybe that's just me, says Ryan. But yeah, the setup here is always like people looking at the top. Chris Goddard, obviously the best golfer in the world right now outside of Scotty Scheffler. You see, he ran into a buzzsaw in Scotty Scheffler last week at the Open after winning the Scottish Open the week before, but he's playing some really good golf. Wyndham Clark seemingly back 11th and 4th. He's up at the top there. Ricky finally with a decent result there, but at 14th place. But for last week's price, much better this week. Tough to swallow at 9,500. Usually you like Taylor Pendrith a little bit. He's, 5th place here last year, got some solid results outside of last week's missed cut. So he's been playing some pretty good golf. If he hurt people last week, maybe they go against that. And then you got, Grazerman, Finau, and my guy Sung Jae is just hurting right now. But any other thoughts that you're seeing up at the top hoop? I think you could definitely make some lineups without these 10K guys completely. I know some people like to go double stud and pair them up. What's your original thoughts? And then what are you seeing in SaberSim Optimizer?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a week where people always ask, can you leave salary on the table? Certainly. Like, this is definitely a week you can leave salary on the table. This is a week you can avoid the 10K range. There's not much of a difference between some of these 9K guys and the 10K guys. I did want to see, we're getting a ton of Akshay. We're getting 74%. Let's just, for the sake of the show, we'll cap that at 40. We're getting a lot of Putnam. Man, I always like Putnam, so I'm going to be good with that, but not 53% Putnam. We'll just kind of cap him at 33. Just for the sake of the show. Does anyone else get way up to the top? Now we're getting a ton of Seabez, 46%. I'm not doing that. We'll just put a cap at 25 for the sake of the show. Anyone else coming in at a crazy number? Siwoo, Putnam's cap, Steven. So nothing out of the ordinary. So those are a few guys. I will hit rebuild just to see what it does. Whenever I make big changes like that, 4 or 5 big changes, I'll always just rebuild to see what it does to my lineup. So I'm going to rebuild, and we'll see what comes in, and then we'll start doing some Saber score stuff and contest sims.
Yeah, the Akshay thing is super interesting. He's from a world ranking perspective, and just, I know not everybody goes off that, but it's, typically some strength of field stuff plays into that, some comparabilities. I know the annoying part of the live factor, but just outside of that, I mean, the setup there, he's ahead of guys like Tony Finau, who's priced up to 9,100 here, and he's 8K. He's living around Pendrith and Grazerman and those guys, and he's down at 8K. So, he'll be extremely popular, and there is a ton of water here, and that, the chalk can get into trouble on this course pretty easily. I do think people are going to be looking at Bhatia very quickly in their lineups, right? He'll fit every type of build. He's 8K flat. He's less than the average price. That one's going to be one that pops for sure. The other one you said there was somebody else. You mentioned Bez, but I thought there was someone else.
Yeah. Steve Bez, we were getting a ton of Bhatia, Putnam, Seabez, yeah.
Let me just see the Putnam stuff real quick, because people were making fun of Putnam just a few weeks ago. And then I think he WD'd and then missed the cut. Now he's back off in 11th place, 19th here last year. Before the WD and the missed cut, I mean, he just came 11th, but before that he had the 8th, the 6th, the 15th. I mean, he had some pretty good results in there. So, no, Putnam, I think, played last week. So Patrick's in the chat, but I'm pretty sure. What did he do last?
I got it.
Scottish? No.
11th at the Barracuda.
Yeah,
missed the cut at the Scottish.
Yeah. Okay. We got it there. So, yeah, I was trying to find that, but you got it for me. Thanks, Hoop. So, yeah. I mean, that's going to make sense at 7K as well. I think people are going to be interested based off of that. I don't see a ton of guys in the 6s here that people will really be comfortable with. And when you're looking now on Saber, it seems like a lot of these lineups are just stopping at Putnam. Is that pretty correct?
Oh, let's see. So we're getting 4% Rosner, 2% Kanaya. Yeah, nothing in the 6Ks, like nothing at all. I mean, and that's just like the nature of a soft pricing slate where like there's really not a ton to pay out for. They're not projected all that differently from some of these guys down here. You're talking 6-7 points in some cases. Like last week, Scotty Scheffler was projected 20 to 30 points more than the guys in the next range. So that's just kind of what you're going to get. I will sort it by Sabre score here just to see. We're going to use the big number, see if anything changes substantially. Getting a lot of Mav, getting a lot of Sam Burns, still getting some Goddard up. So not a lot of change when you go from projected score to Sabre score. Adam Scott pops up here at 26%. A lot more mixing and matching, I'd say, but hold steady where you're still getting a lot of the guys at the top with Sabre score.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's one of those things too, like you said, when you get the pricing where it's Burns, Mav McNeely, and Goddard up top, where even then people won't be as comfortable being heavy on those guys. They're going to get ownership because people always find a way to pay up, and there's ways to get different with it. You can play two of them together, etc. But when that happens and people do get comfortable in these other ranges, that's where you're going to find people just not even going to the sixes at all. So it makes perfect sense, and I can see it from that perspective. What are some of the other builds if you flip to? You just did go to Sabre score now?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, what's the difference? What's showing? They're just putting lower owned guys in. I'm seeing Putnam still with Wyndham, with Burns. I guess it all depends on what we see Wyndham coming in at. But
yeah, like Matt Wallace showed up here a little bit more. Yeah, Wyndham showed up a little bit more. Just more mixing and matching, it appears, with these guys at the top, like McNeely and Burns. I'm assuming it's those. Going crazy here. I'm assuming it's those two. Yeah, just because they're projected 4 points higher than Goddard up, and there's not a huge price difference between them. So that's probably why it's kind of still sticking with Burns and Mav here in these builds.
So early thoughts, one thing that comes to mind right away is sometimes people don't ever really want to give credit to anything, and a guy like Goddard up, that makes perfect sense. Like he won, nobody really wanted him last week. He comes back and finishes third. The week Potgeider won, nobody played him the next week. It wasn't like he crushed, but he came back and did pretty good until he didn't. I think he WD'd after the third round or something, but it was like he came out a lot better than people expected, and we're like, holy shit, this guy's still playing good. That's what I'm wondering here. It feels like people are going to be very comfortable with McNeely, like you showed. Burns just a product of the slate and the price and the projection, so that's going to happen no matter what. You got to wonder who sort of gets left completely out, and I don't think Goddard will get left completely out. I'm just saying some people won't give full credit when really his results have been phenomenal. It's just such a price shock, and they didn't give you 9,900 Best Buy pricing. They put him right at 10K. Bang, you got to make a decision. So we'll see. Projections still like him. He's still going to get put in there, but just noting it, it's going to get somewhat spread out, I think, amongst all those three at the top. And then after that, how will people really feel about Wyndham Clark? It was already asked by Patrick. He said, is he really back, or was that just the links golf for him playing over there and overseas and that sort of setup? So tough to say. And then a guy like Finau, who has not been good, but has incredible history here. Does he come out and show out at 9,100? So one thing I look at is like different build styles. And even that one, the second lineup there, well, it has Burns. It's got Pendrith, Luke Clanton, Vegas, Gim, and Norgard Moeller. Like you're still
all unowned.
Pretty different build, right? So even though you're seeing still Sam Burns, who you're expecting to see, it's not quite the same. That next one, I'm not sure how it'll play out, but if you've already got Burns, McNeely, Putnam, and Bez, you need a Fishburne and a Roy in there to make it that way. But man, it's pretty tricky to get to these double stud. I mean, it's not tricky to get to the double stud builds, but you got to get a lot of stuff to go your right. And if you're doing it with Bez and Putnam, who may pick up ownership on top of those two at the top, that's where I have a harder time with it. Why I said tricky is that setup. And then Patrick also says, good point, actually. Finau did play really well for the first 2 to 3 rounds, if you will, last week, and then just had a horrible finish. And so it looks bad on paper, but maybe there's something there too. He's 9,100. What do the lineups look like, Hoop, when you get down to just skipping the 10Ks altogether?
Let's see. You can do so exclude. It's good. Yeah. So you're getting like Pendrith, Knapp, Kitayama, got Wyndham Clark, Knapp, Homa, Wyndham Clark, Kitayama. So it seems like a lot of Wyndham Clark probably. Yeah, so half of our non-10K lineups are Wyndham Clark, 23% Pendrith, 14% Fowler. It is getting some fee now. So, I mean, it is spreading it out besides a lot of Wyndham, just because I'm assuming you're forced to spend the salary. I mean, that's the main thing. You're going to be forced to spend somewhere. So it's just going to go to him.
I really like this view. Good call out, because that's the benefit of when you go to something like this, and why I like Sabre for this is, and if you're using the stone like I do on one screen and then just pull it over, you can start to see who is it when you're not going that route for a certain roster construction that you're actually who is it putting in for you? And then what do you actually want to see happen? And that's how you can adjust it. I know a lot of people, you had this conversation last week. We were talking about it quite a bit about just trusting what Sabre Sim gives you. I still like to put my own spin on it. We did the show there with Jordan and breaking it all down from Sabre, and Rio was on with me, and SHIPIT Nation members can just go to the top under Sabre Sim and then go to, maybe you can highlight over it there, Hoop. If you hover over Sabre Sim at the top, drop down under live Q&A. If you haven't watched this, you don't have to go there, but just so people know, if you haven't watched this, you're a member, you get this included. There's the latest video with Jordan from Sabre Sim, Rio, and myself. It's actually about golf. We did it for the Open, so it will tie directly to this, but it's really about Sabre Sim and in general, and it shows how you can actually adjust it using something like the stone to get the exact player pool you're kind of thinking, with some extras in there, like just in case, and make room for them. And then Jordan was still able to make it where he got all positive ROI lineups without just, finagling it to, increase projection or make it seem like he did something different. Some will say, oh, but I didn't see the ROI. And this is Ultimate members mainly, but just everybody can get an idea from Sabre Score, this, that, and the other. But he didn't change anything. He was still able to play the pool he wanted based off his own knowledge and research, and then use Sabre Sim to give him the best versions of those lineups. Where the biggest thing I think, Hoop, and I'll get your opinion on this, is what people overthink is a lot of the decisions, right? Like the last guy in, or this 2v2, or whatever it might be. This is kind of doing it for you automatically, where you can sense, okay, if it's going to these two, like we saw earlier with McNeely and Burns with Putnam, well, then it needs to put in Kevin Roy and somebody else. Maybe that's not who you have in your pool, but whatever your pool is, it will find your Kevin Roy. Like our guy DJ used to say, you'll find your own slapdicks. Yeah. It will find your own and put it in there and know that that's the lineup. Even with Sabre Score, you don't need Ultimate or the Sims for this. Sabre Score will still find that for you, and that's your edge. It's what you want to play with the content and the stuff that you pay for, and then able to put you in the best position possible to find success in the type of tournament that you're actually playing in. That matters so much more than picks, plays, and hot takes. That's the key.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to put it is it does a lot of the work for you in regards to, hey, I want to play these guys. Let's say you love Maverick McNeely and Sam Burns this week. They're obviously going to be popular because it's easy to play them. What Sabre Score will do, it'll give you lineups that aren't playing them. It'll avoid the other super popular plays and builds, and it just kind of does it for you, which is great for someone like me. I mean, I've always struggled getting off popular sort of builds. Like this setup will essentially do that for you. I did run contests, and I just want to see how this looks, how this differs, and I still have these top guys excluded, and we're still getting a lot of Wyndham Clark. We're getting more Pendrith here, Siwoo Kim, Grazerman. And the reason is it's just because you got to spend the salary somewhere. It's not going to, I have the lowest salary set to 49,100. So it still needs to spend somewhere. So that's that reason. I do want to see what it does to these guys at the top, where Sam Burns comes down a little bit because of the ownership. Only 30% Sam Burns, 34% McNeely, still only 13% Goddard. It looks like it's really spreading things out quite a bit more when we go by ROI on our contest sims opposed to Sabre Score, and then definitely opposed to projected score. So that's the difference we're seeing here.
Yeah, and I think that's another good piece to talk about quickly, just because there's some misconception to it. And I use like any sport. It's specifically, we're talking golf, but like baseball, someone said, "Oh, the Sims are giving me all the Los Angeles Angels or whatever it is last night up against whoever, what was the pitcher last night, was super popular. Anyway, the Angels were against them, or, people ended up with White Sox because Baz was popular for Tampa Bay. And I know it's a golf show, but just to explain it, and I'll carry it over. That's your highest ROI lineups because that's the easiest way to find leverage on the slate. You're literally saying this pitcher that's super popular is going to go down. This batter is going to go up. So what people do usually look at here is they say, oh, that's weird. I ran the contest sims now to relate it to golf, and I still got a bunch of Sam Burns. I still got a bunch of McNeely. You have to go the step further and start to look at the roster constructions. And now look at even hoop right there with your Wyndham Clark lineup. Jesper Svensson, Bo Hostler, Doug Gim, Adam Scott. These aren't the names that we were seeing mixed in before. And that's what I was trying to say earlier. It's a combination of everything. But then people saying this 2v2 versus this 2v2, let the optimizer figure it out for you. It will know what you already have in there. It will know what you want from your pool and your research and content and say, I'll give you this now. It's input equals output. And that's what people forget. They all, SaberSim gave me this. You loaded SaberSim. Even if you didn't change anything and just let it run the defaults, SaberSim gave you what you left turned on, defaults. That's what we're trying to show you. So that's kind of the thing that you're looking at. And yeah, not a lot. Like, Patrick says this too. Best worst thing about there's no correlations. You can get wave stacks. You can get skill sets. You can do different things like that. But in general, it's still going to come down to finding some of those angles. Now, with other sports, SaberSim is giving you simulations beforehand where they are finding out what works with what and so on and so forth. But I'm going to do my my best hoopster impression hoop. I'll let you just take over for a second. I just got to grab one quick thing.
All right, yeah, gotcha. So one thing I have pulled up here is the 6K range. We're still sorted by contest sim ROI, but I want to check out the 6K range and see, are we getting more guys in the 6K range? Because when we had a projected score, we weren't getting barely any. When we had Saber score, we weren't getting a ton. Contest sims, you are seeing a little bit more in the 6K range, just random guys popping up in like one or two lineups. Chandler Phillips, we have 2 lineups with him. Rosner, 5 lineups. Jackson Suber, 3 lineups, and then just a bunch of guys down here getting one. Webb Simpson. I'm definitely not playing Webb Simpson, but he shows up in 4 lineups here. Carson Young, I don't mind him. We're getting him in 2 lineups. Adam Hadwin, we're getting in 2. And I do want to see, like, if you're playing someone down here, like, what does that lineup look like? We are getting Toasty. Obviously, he's out. This will all be updated, but let's say we are playing a Adam Hadwin. Like, what do those lineups look like? It's him, one guy up top, so it's kind of hitting on every range: a 10K guy, a 9K guy, 8, and then 2 7s. This one gets 2 spends. Sam Burns got her up 8, 7. So if you are playing a 6K guy, you are able to get in multiple spends, which is obvious because the highest salary on the slate is 10.5. So it's just going to be easy to do that with going down to that 6K range just one simple time. So still not getting, even when we have it by contest sims, not getting a lot of guys in the 6K range, getting more of them, but the ownership is spread out. So no matter what, if you want to play 6K guys this week, you're probably going to have to jam them in a little bit. Welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, get you some talk time in there. I know it's hard to come by on these shows, but Tambo HQ is getting the rooftop patio installed today. So that was the guys at the door just making sure they could leave some of the stuff overnight. So we're working away. We're chipping away at it. We're getting everything ready to go there. But going to be a ton of good content coming out this season, and we're excited, like we said earlier, with the NFL coming back. That is going to be a huge one, and just massive, massive stuff. I cannot wait to start teasing it. Hoop knows I've been sending him stuff the last couple of days. Can I send this yet? What are we working on? And now we can finally do it. We got some of the stuff finalized today. So very, very excited for that. It's going to be huge for the community, and just a ton of ways that we can reward people and make it, take care of our loyal people, take care of our new people, get people to leave the site they're currently at and come over. There's, like you said, you won't be able to get this honor because it's not just honoring price, it's honoring everything. And it's going to be a lot to ask if you're going to your current site and saying, hey, by the way, I know we have almost the same thing over at your site, but can you honor this promotion? Oh, you can't? No, they're insane. All right, well, I'm going to go with them then. That's what we want to see. That's what we're excited about. So this is a big one. Yeah. What else do you want to talk about here? I missed what you just talked about, some of the stuff with the 6 guys. I saw like Rosner popping in a little bit. I know some people are going down there. Chandler Phillips can always make birdies in bunches. I noticed him. My guy Steven Fisk, Chan Kim, but you're making a case and you're forcing your own stuff in there, right? At that point.
And it's like it's not getting anything different, really. Like if you come down here, you're still going to get the Burns, McNeely lineups. Like you're not getting anything unless you like some of these guys. There are guys down here like Carson Young. Like he randomly pops up. I do like him. I'll take a shot on probably Adam Hadwin for at 66. I'll take a shot on probably like a Joe Highsmith. Can he find it? Like he's one. Like maybe Fisk, like I'll take a shot on. Chandler Phillips seems like he can randomly make a lot of birdies, like you said. I'm always giving my guy Adam Svensson a chance. Let me see. It probably has not been good for him, I'm guessing. Give me some ray of hope. All cuts and then a 44th at the John Deere. So, maybe I don't go that route, but I typically will include him. But the main thing is, like, even if you are forcing a lot of 6K guys, you're not getting like massive upgrades. It's not like you're going from a Xander Schauffele to a Scotty Scheffler, which in my eyes is a massive upgrade. Like you're just not getting much. Just to hit on the guys at the top, Burns, McNeely, Goddard. Like if Goddard is going to be, substantially lower owned than those other guys, like I'd be fine making him play on Goddard. I mean, he's found something. Like clearly has found something. Like this isn't just a random thing where he popped up for a win and he's been shitty besides that. Like no, like he's been good. He continues to play well. Like I'm fine, playing Goddard, especially if he's looking to be 10 percentage points lower than those other guys in terms of ownership. So just my quick take. I mean, playing 150, I will have exposure to all three, but like if Goddard's going to be significantly lower owned, like that kind of stands out to me a little bit.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to do some mini exercises real quick. I think Putnam will be extremely popular, as will Akshay Bhatia, but I'll just say Akshay to me is like a different scenario, whether or not it works. I'm just saying he's in a zone where yes, there's other guys around him, but there's a ton of ways to play it. It's similar with Putnam, but obviously we know the cheaper chalk is typically a little bit more fragile. So when you go to your Putnam lineups, just turn on, don't even care what setting we're on, whether it's, if it's on contest sims, even better, because it'll kind of show this off and ways you can do it. But I think that's a great example right there. So just, you can leave that one with Hoagie in it for a second. This would be like more of a prime example of how I would look at it. Like one of the things about Putnam, I think people, what they'll say is, I see 10 guys around him that could beat him. So why would I play Putnam at that chalk? And you can think of it like that, and I'm sure you'll get some lineups in your portfolio, especially if using SaberSim or building your own way or whatever you're doing. You'll get lineups that don't have Putnam, and you'll be fine with it, and you should be. There is like 10 guys either side of him that can beat him this week that could just make shit. William Mao just got a win. He's right there at 7K flat. Max McGreevy can do well. We talked about Phillips, Super Trooper, Jackson. They're at 6,900. These guys can make tons of birdies and could just crush Putnam on the scoring. But you're also allowed to play them together. And that's what I was trying to show is it doesn't even matter if it's not up there now. The Putnam with Hoagie thing, a lot of people assume same price means I have to pick one. It's like clearly you look at the lineups, especially when you're using SaberSim with SaberScore, even whatever you're using, you can see there's actually a ton of good lineups that use them both. So that's why I would say it's not who you play, it's how you play them. Everyone's looking like you have to pivot. It is not a matchup bet. There's 5 other guys that need to go in your lineup, and going to that extra guy could be the difference. They could still beat him, but Putnam could still finish 14th and end up on the winning lineup, even though 2 guys around him crushed him on the scoring. That's just the way it sets up. You're allowed to play all 3 of those guys. So this is another reason why I like SaberSim to be able to do the dirty work, if you will. It takes what we want it, give it, and then give me the best versions of it. That's how I use it. And when I use it with the Stone and combine those 2 together, it makes it very easy to build a player pool and then get a portfolio out of it. If you want to split it up and build in sets for weather and things like that, it's just as easy to do so. So I don't know if you have anything else to add there, Hoop, but that was kind of the big ones for me, big takeaways, at least for this week.
Yeah, and it's like you can apply that to whoever the popular guy is, not just like right. Putnam. Like if it's going to be somebody else, like, yeah, you can make that same argument. And we talk about that a ton on the show, and it's a very important aspect of roster construction. That's why we always try to touch on it. So Yeah, I mean, just kind of going through, like I said, in the upper range, if Goddard's the lowest owned, I probably want to make a play on him into the 9K range. Guys that stand out, like, maybe Wyndham did find something. I mean, Wyndham was a top end golfer up until like a year ago, and he's struggled quite a bit. But man, all you need is a couple good finishes, and these guys can go on a run. I mean, we've seen it. Maybe he does make a run through the FedEx Cup playoffs. So at 98, I'm interested there. Pendrith is a guy I'm always interested in. Grazerman, interested in. Tony Finau, not so much. Like, I don't know. Like, I get he was good 1 through 3, but overall it's been a disaster without many signs of hope. So I'll probably pass on Finau, but definitely most interested in Wyndham, Pendrith, and Grazerman in this 9K range.
Yeah, Finau was at the Happy Gilmore 2 premiere with Scotty Scheffler, and good setup there. But I think that movie comes out tomorrow. Maybe you gonna be watching the sequel, Hoopster?
Absolutely, great show. That's a great movie. Yeah, I'm in for sure.
Well, part 1 was great. The original. Yes. We don't know yet if part 2. It's probably going to be horrible when guys, I think, like Colin Morikawa and people like that are acting in it.
The Morikawa, man. Gosh, in terms of golf, he might suck. I mean, honestly, he just might not be good. And we've been beating that drum here before anyone else, just so you guys know.
Yeah, that's good, man. I like that. You definitely been on top of it from that. So, yeah, Bobby Bees says, I love playing 2 to 3 players at the same price. Yeah, add them to it. I mean, people act like you can't play them together. I got to pivot. Yeah. Pivot is built into people's mind is what you have to do. There's going to be pivots naturally built into your lineup, or maybe you're pivoting to a different roster construction as opposed to just a different player. And I see lineup 1 there, Hoop. That's another interesting one. So Wyndham Clark, even if he does pick up some steam at the top, it's got Davis Thompson and who's the other guy in it? Kitayama from the upper 8K range, which won't be touched very often. And then you've got Champ, Hoey, and Springer. No Putnam, Springer instead. So you're playing some chalk, but you're still mixing it up. And then the construction with 2 8K guys just has not looked to be popular from everything we've seen so far outside of, I shouldn't say that, especially when it's not using Akshay. Like if you see a 2 8K lineup this week, it's more than likely going to have Akshay in it at 8K flat. You are getting one there with Davis Thompson, Kitayama fading the 10K range up top, and then not using Hostler, Bez, Putnam, the popular guys in the 7s. Prime example of why that lineup's going to rate out well. And those guys all have good top 20 odds, good odds in the field, lower ownership in some cases, all these factors to still make a really good lineup as a whole. But a lot of people just want to poke holes in the names. Oh yeah, but Hayden Springer, why would I do that? I could just play this guy. Well, you're messing with the system at that point. That's where I'm saying. So you kind of got to get what you want first and then let it run it from there. But I think that's definitely an interesting setup you've got there on that lineup. Is there any other lineups or constructions you saw that stood out to you for this week?
Not too much. Just, I'll continue kind of just working through the tiers in the 8K range. For me, it's more, I do like Knapp. I'll definitely take some chances on Thor at 8,600, Adam Scott, Luke Clanton, and even, Kevin Yu and Bhatia. It's another situation with Bhatia. Like, if he does get this massive ownership, which Saber's showing right now, like, I really like going to Yu or even taking a chance on Clanton. Max Homa, biggest price we've seen on him in a while. Like, that's, likely a pass for me. But like Knapp, Yu, Clanton, Scott, like those are the guys I'm kind of looking at here in this 8K range.
Yeah, Griot's a course history guy, but Knapp,
I'd play him too. I'm good with him.
I think a few like Kitayama, Knapp, Thor are 3 that stood out right away to me that I could definitely get behind. I think they're fine. Trying to see who else is here. Clanton, add him at the bottom. You can always get hot and make birdies, but not like in everybody. So those 3 at the top are the ones I would say are more standout to me. The chat said earlier, like I think it was Ryan who said, interesting to see Lee low owned and not liked by SaberSim. Like Haotong Lee is not going to get a big projection, so he's not going to show up for that reason. But obviously the 4th place last week, if you like that would be one where that'd be a prime example of what I talked about earlier, where people just won't trust it and they'll just go against it and say it's probably not going to happen. I do know though, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Lee Hodges hurt some feelings recently. He's a winner here, before his couple of miscuts. He had a 9th, a 21st, a 34th. He's kind of more boom bust. If that's the case, but like that's to me another guy that you could go to here. He's at 7,700 up top there. And I think a lot more people will go to Rico Hoey or Alex Smalley, and probably rightfully so. I know our guy Lee does the value report. That's free over at SHIPIT Nation. You can just go to PGA drop down at the top and drop down. That is one of the guys he's on, spoiler alert, but Vince Whaley is the guy that he's on in the report there. So, I mean, there's a bunch of guys that you can go to in this range, but I don't know if there's specifics that you want to talk about.
Yeah, sevens are, I mean, it's always tough just because there's so many guys, and then you really don't have to worry about ownership all that much. I mean, just going through like who are the popular guys. Sabre showing 14% for Sam Stevens, 10% for Olesen, 16 for Seabass. Coming down, it's showing the 20 on Putnam. That's probably a little high, but you know, he probably does get substantial ownership. So 3 guys over 10, everything else, you know, maybe 4 guys over 10, everything else pretty spread out. So like you can play those guys, or if you don't, there's obviously other pivots. You know, just for me personally, going through this, Smalley kind of stands out. I always kind of like Lee Hodges. This Jespers fencing guy just randomly shows up and does well. Maybe it's something about the last name that I'm attracted to, because my guy Adams. So yeah, Jesper 16th at the Open, 43rd at the Genesis. Like, yeah, I'm definitely interested in him. I'll play some. You know, Sahith in this field. Like last year, if Sahith is in this field, what is he, like 9,500 or something, right? I mean, he was a premier player. Now he's 7,500. I like Bridgman. You know, do you take a chance on Tom Kim? What did he do recently? Tom Kim,
by the way, too, is coming off injury.
No, yeah,
he's been out for a while now, right? Like I think,
yeah.
You know, the miscut, sure, but before that, it was off quite a bit. The WD, I think, was at the PGA Championship. So yeah, you can take a shot on him for sure. It's just knowing what it is.
Taylor Moore, Kevin Roy, McCarty. I guess I have to mention EVR because the name you have up on the screen right now. I always like myself some Hubbard. Ben seems like a cheaper price tag for him. Chris Kirk, Putnam, Eckroat, just a lot of guys here. So again, the main thing is probably don't have to be worried about ownership all that much. A few guys probably get some here, but you can, for the most part, play your guys in this range.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a lazy week after a major. So like the ones we talked about, Putnam, Akshay, Bez, those types of guys are just going to get natural ownership based on the projections and whatnot. But it's more set up in a way where you can get different naturally because there's so many guys in each range to make those moves or build your pool. And this is funny. I know Jason's always around, always supporting, but Sungjae is pretty much always in the pool. It's just what does it give me based on the number. There was the one week that people were telling me he was going to win on Thursday. I actually had the least amount of Sungjae that week in a long time, just from what it gave me, like from what everything was set up. I don't force Sungjae into 30% of my lineups for the bit. I like Sungjae. I play him. I think he's better than he is. Has proved me wrong on that lately, but I'm in on him. So it's not like, again, we don't sit here and tell you the hottest takes and this, that, and the other word, how to play DFS, how to get better at the game, how to use content and tools to your advantage so you actually make money or can get yourself in a spot to try and make money, because nobody can guarantee that for you. That's always going to be our goal, and trying to make you as good as possible at the actual game and how to play. You got to go out and actually play the game after that, and this is what allows you to do it. So Steven says, along the lines of how you play someone, not who you play, I like looking at what combos the players come up a lot and think about some pivots off those. So twofold, Steven, for me on this one, because it's a good way of thinking of things. And like I just said, it's all to each their own and how you want to play it yourself. But that's where I say, I don't just, some people do this, by the way, just trust SaberSim totally with our inputs. Like, here's our projections, here's our ownership, let me build. You can do that, especially if you have no time. But I like to trust my research, use the stone, pull everything in first to what I want to use. And then I'm not worried about the combos of players that come up a lot, because I want to just, like Hoop does, keep some of it in check. I don't want certain guy at 76% necessarily, but I will keep guys in check that way. But I don't want to make pivots just to make pivots when the tool is already doing my player pool with its spin of SaberScore, in my case, contest sims using the ultimate package. that's what the spin is there already. So I don't need to worry about that. And that's where I think a lot of people can overthink. Not saying you, just in general, that is where it gets tricky when you're trying to almost one up your own process of, I want to play these guys, but wait, ownership thought, let me pivot this. And then you've been there, everyone has, myself included. You look back and go, why did I make that change? That was so stupid. I should not have done that. Or now I see it. So just little note on that. I hope if you got more to add when it comes to it, but I love what you said earlier. People used to say, oh, Hoop duped so much, and win again. Yeah. 6-figure win, milli. They go, all of a sudden, like what? You're the cash dupe guy winning a milli maker outright? Like it's like you said, you let a tool take over that allows you to go away. When you're hand building, I'm sure you still sometimes put it in. You're like, screw it. I like these two guys, so I'm playing them. And it can work, but it is noted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's why just we like to incorporate the SaberSim tool into what we do, because like myself, like if I go in and start hand building teams, they're probably going to end up a little bit too chalky and not negative ROI. But when you use SaberSim, whatever feature you're using, whether it's SaberScore, Contest Sims, it's just going to naturally get you different combinations that you wouldn't land on your own. Like early in the season, I won, I think it was 50,000 in baseball, and it was Paul Skeens and another top pitcher. And I had this random build in there that stacked against the two top pitchers on the slate, and nobody else had it. Like obviously nobody else had it. I won the GPP by like 20 fantasy points. And it's just like those random teams that Saber can find for you and get you to the top of the leaderboard. It's, very important part of the process.
And a lot of times those separation pieces, because we'll stick with golf. I'm the one that usually loves changing sports, and I did it on you earlier, so I'll go back to golf on it after a good point you made there, because that was the exact baseball example I displayed earlier. But the separation pieces in golf, a lot of the times can be, brought back to the stone. Like you see it, and Saber got it in there, but you got it in there because of the stone. You found it as a sleeper, or you found something within their ranking or their course fit ranking or something on the stone to put them in your pool. They end up being the separator, and everybody else thinks you're a mind reader, or they think you have a crystal ball. Well, how did this person land on this person? Well, how they did it was they had the stone, they put it in, and they were able to then move it from there. But like that's the setup of it. This would be another one. There's tons of stat sites out there that will give you water stats and things like that. But again, what are you going to do? Go build a lineup with 6 guys that all avoid the water, and then all of a sudden 2 of them find it this week? Like you can't really correlate that, so to speak, as much as like if it's a ball strikers course or something that's a little bit more sticky. The water avoidance, water pops up out of nowhere, one bad shot here, one bad shot there, bad mindset, and now 2 of your water avoiders are all of a sudden horrible in your lineup. So it's just a tricky way to build. That's why I always say, like, people, you don't know what you don't know. Oftentimes the guys in your lineup definitely do matter at the end of the week, but they weren't necessarily there because they were your favorite golfers. Hoops example he just gave, those were not your favorite. That was not your favorite stack or pitchers that night, but that lineup made it into the portfolio, and it made perfect sense when that was the case. I'm assuming, I don't have my phone updates on me, but a little RIP Ozzy Osbourne. This will always be the stream that we found out. Damn, that's wild. Legend.
I thought he's been dead for a long time, so it's news. I guess the news to me is that he was still alive.
Yeah. It's official. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else to add on that stuff, Hoop? Just people, looking for certain stats. Obviously, I think it's a showdown game more so than not, when you can obviously balance that a little bit further. But even then, there's levels to that game as well, because a top ball striker like Corey Connors could bounce back with the ball striking after a bad day and just do his neutral shitty putting and still be okay. You just never know. But it's everybody just always looks at the best. The worst putters with the best ball striking. It doesn't always work out that way either. So any thoughts on these skill stat lineups?
Yeah, I look at it. For me, when I do PGA, it's like I look for guys that generally fit what I'm looking for. And like on a course, obviously, where there's a lot of water, you probably want accurate drivers. But on most courses, you want accurate drivers. So the stats can only take you so far. For me, with PGA, it's just more of roster construction, game theory, that sort of thing is more important to me, but everyone has to find their process. A lot of the stats that people are looking for, course specific stats, apply to almost every course, right? I mean, you know kind of what you're looking for. Yes, this week, if you want someone that's driving accurate, you can say that for just about any course on the PGA Tour. If you're hitting the ball accurately off the tee, you probably have a better chance of winning the golf tournament. So, find what works for you, I guess, is my advice when it comes to that.
Yeah, have fun doing whatever you're doing. I should say that. I know sometimes I get way too, heavy on this type of stuff. It's what I love. You guys know this is my favorite thing. It's my passion, is sort of the education and getting into the weeds of it all. But like, if you heard the saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. I think with golf, it's always been to me, don't play the player, the golfer, play the game. Like I want to play what the field is doing. I really don't care as much about the names. And that's why I was so happy with, Hoop and I and our team at SHIPIT Nation and being able to run it the way we sort of want to run it, not having to do all these, have to have the picks, have to have the plays, have to make the hot takes. It's not what I want to do. I want to play the game. And that's why you see it in poker too, Hoop. Like you can go in, there's players that can go in and play poker without looking at the cards and run a table over and just collect cash along the way because you can bluff. You can pull off whatever. You can pretend you have this when you don't. You can do all this stuff. People pretend to know a lot with PGA DFS, and it's good to know stuff, and stats are important and all of that. But at the end of the day, we're still playing a game. So it's really important to know what the field's doing. What the water on this course tells me is not find the people that avoid the water, because I don't give a shit if you got 20 tournament sample size. It doesn't matter. We're talking about this week, right here, right now. What matters to me is what that tells me is there's a higher likelihood than usual that the variance is getting turned up. So that tells me that the ownership is going to be heavy on certain guys when it probably shouldn't be, because the variance can turn on them very quickly. And then people go, oh, I thought he was for sure a lock at that price, or I thought he was the best play at that price. It's what you thought. It's not what happened. So all the water stuff tells me is higher variance. I can tell you from past experience, being with our guy Todd at the Millie Maker win at the 3M Open for the Fantasy Golf World Championship, he won it with a 5 of 6. And that's a smaller field. Obviously, you're not expecting to win a lottery with it, but the variance is sky high at a tournament like this. So nothing that you think is safe until it is. So until Friday, and they make it through the cut, and then who knows what they do over the weekend. But for a 6 of 6, nothing's safe until it is at this course. So keep that in mind when you're building. Hoop, anything to add? Anything, final thoughts that you've got before we get out of here?
No, sir. Get in for the NFL season, $349. You guys know the deal. It's the best in the industry. No one's going to be able to match it, and still more to come. You see all the early bird bonuses, free all access until NFL. You get everything on the website until NFL starts, including SaberSim, free DFS mastermind course that you have up right there. College football, that's a big one, because a lot of sites charge, like you said, it's probably at least $200 for their college football content. That is included in our football package. And then the big announcement coming August 6th that you're not going to want to miss, something innovative, new, and something that we've been working on for a while that we're very, very, very excited to launch.
Yeah, there'll be no going back. That's one thing for sure. We always tell the truth like it is and say it. We're super transparent on this stuff. But if you miss the early bird package and you don't get in on the bonuses and things that we talk about, the mystery bonus, we can't just give it away. That's always been our motto. Like if founding family with, the loyalty rewards, things like that, all that stuff that we're doing, once we say it, we'll do it, but we can't just carry it over. If not, it's unfortunate, but it's just the way it has to be. So make sure if you're planning on getting in, now is the time to do it. There is no fluff. The cost of the membership, you'll see once you get everything involved, there is more bonuses with it. Especially, and that's not even including the $549 doesn't include the mystery bonus. And I told you it's better than a $100 single entry ticket. So it's up to you. But if you're planning on being with us anyway, and with SaberSim and with all of that combined, it's going to be the best deal possible. Appreciate you guys. Hope you have a good week at the 3M. That's going to do it for this one, guys. For Hoop, for myself, ToeTagginTambo, let's ship it.